If you've spent any time as an entrepreneur, you know all about the hustle culture, right? Sleep less, work hard, grind. Gary Vee, motivational videos, all these different things that hype us up and really excite us as entrepreneurs. And sure, all that is awesome. But the question comes up regularly, how much should you sleep as an entrepreneur? And today we're going to be looking at that question, and I'm going to be giving you 2 of my tips that help me get to sleep faster, sleep better, so that I can wake up more refreshed and hit my day harder and build my business better. What's up, everyone? My name is Jonathan. I'm the host here at The Jono Show. Now, this is not only a YouTube channel that goes through tips and tricks and all sorts of different things all about entrepreneurship and business and mindset, but we also have an incredible podcast. We have amazing guests. We've had some incredible guests in the past, from sex therapists to people who've worked with the Pope and Elon Musk and all sorts of incredible folks, but we have some incredible guests coming up too, and I want to make sure that you are alerted when those podcast episodes drop. So make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead, hit that alert bell as well, because that will allow you to be able to be notified right as soon as we release these episodes. So make sure you stay tuned for those. All right, for today's topic, we're talking about sleep and entrepreneurship and this whole hustle culture that so many of us get really excited about as entrepreneurs oftentimes can be seen as, not cohesive at all. We think that we should sleep less maybe. And certainly when you listen to folks like Gary Vee maybe, or a lot of the motivational guys out there, they'll be telling you, if you're sleeping 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, you're comfortable, right? You are not pushing as hard as you could. If you're broke and you're sleeping that much a day, you have a problem. And that is something that is commonly said, and I think a common theme that runs through a lot of this kind of like guru hype culture surrounding entrepreneurship that we've definitely seen evolve over the last couple of years. But I'm actually here to tell you that sleep is super important, and there are a couple things that I do to know how much I should sleep and to kind of give myself a good pace for how I handle sleep with the rest of the things that are going on. Sleep is super, super important. It's an important part of our health, and it's important to realize that if we're not taking into consideration how much we're sleeping, we're actually not going to be as effective during the day when we are awake. Right? I think of sleep not as like I'm tired and my day is ending, but I think of sleep as just a little bit of a resting point, a pause to allow me to refresh and wake up the next day more rejuvenated. So if you're not waking up the next day more rejuvenated because you either haven't slept enough or you've slept poorly, that is a big, big issue that will sabotage your day and really completely defeats the purpose of sleep in the beginning. A couple things for me that I like to analyze and understand as far as how much sleep I need. First, like I said, quality of sleep really matters, and sleeping less doesn't necessarily lead to more productivity, right? A lot of times people will stay up past 10, past 12, maybe they're working till 2 in the morning, and that's certainly fine. But again, if the time you spend between 12 and 2, your productivity is at 50%, because you're exhausted and you're not really able to give your full focus and effort and attention, you're really not doing yourself that much of a service. You really should go to sleep, get that rest, wake up earlier in the morning, refreshed, rejuvenated, and able to give it 100%. Now, of course, this comes in different phases. So maybe you're a student, maybe you're a parent. I know certainly I have 4 kids, and if you're anything like me, you're not sleeping a lot through the different things. Sometimes our kids have had night terrors. Of course, people are wetting the bed, the babies are up, my wife is nursing, like there's all these things going on. And so as a parent, you certainly know what I'm talking about. If you're a student, you're doubtless cramming for exams. If you are just starting a brand new business and maybe you have some deadlines you need to hit, or you're in the middle of a big project, means that you need to stay up super late. You're getting back home at 12 and then you can't do anything else except get back into bed at 2. Of course, there are these times that are going to require less sleep, but by and large, and kind of in the normal flow of things, it's really, really important to give yourself an appropriate amount of sleep during the time when, business or life isn't in a hectic time, right? There's not crazy ups, crazy downs, but when you're more maintaining. So that's the first thing that I would think about. Just kind of analyze your life, figure out the stage in life you're in, and evaluate how much sleep you can get. Now, for me, I've seen I'm most effective between 5 and 7 hours of sleep. I really like to get around 6 hours of sleep. I've seen for me personally, for the stage of life that I'm in and with the kids and with everything else that I have going on, 6 hours of sleep really, really works for me. But it might be different for you. 5 hours might be great. 7 hours might be great. I would say over 7 hours though, is really kind of tricky because then you do start losing a little bit of productivity. If you go to bed at midnight, let's say, and you're not waking up till 8 a.m., there is some hours that you are missing out on, I think. And especially as someone who's juggling a lot, and certainly as entrepreneurs, we juggle so much, it's important to kind of think, where can I squeeze different things in? And for me, for example, in the mornings between 6 and 8, that's when I get a lot of reading time in. That's where I get some of my mindset time, where I'm writing things down, where I'm taking that calm, quiet time in the morning to kind of set the precedent for how I want my day to be. So that for me is super, super important. And I couldn't do that, at 8 because the kids are waking up. There are all sorts of needs from the family, and I've carved out some family time right there in the morning. So for me, that really works. For you, it's going to be different. I'd love to hear what works for you, what doesn't work, maybe what's worked for you in the past, or how things are changing down in the comments. And we can have that discussion there because I know it's going to be different for everyone. All right. I have 2 different tips, 2 things that help me take my sleep and really crank it up a notch and make sure it's really, really effective so that the sleep I'm getting actually counts and actually matters. 2 things. One you've probably heard before. It is to turn screens off and, not be laying in your bed at night on your phone. The blue light and all of the lights and the basically the stimulation that comes from that definitely will keep you awake longer. And I know this is something that's talked about and you might gloss right over it, but seriously, it's really, really important. You can set that precedent for your body and kind of set your body in that state where you're winding down by turning your phone off, maybe even not setting it right next to your bed, but setting it across the room. Maybe you have your alarm on or whatever, but just setting it across the room so it's not right there and there's not all sorts of lights going on. The second thing that I think is extremely important is actually being intentional with your sleep. And, I think through all of the interviews that I've done with all of the incredible guests on the podcast, I've heard again and again that the way that they accomplish things is they're very intentional and they're very mindful about how they're trying to accomplish something. They look at the metrics, they study it. And for just incredible people, in fact, I even remember interviewing Dave Meltzer, and he said he studies his sleep. He studies how he sleeps. He uses an app to track it. He charts how much sleep he feels like he needs, when he feels refreshed, what he does before and after. We spend so much time sleeping as humans that, you'd think that we would spend more time actually analyzing how we spend this time. And so I think having that mindfulness around our sleep schedules and actually preparing for it, actually going into the time before bed, 30 minutes to an hour, with a little bit of preparation. How do you want to spend that time? Winding down, giving yourself that time to start relaxing. And that could look different for you, right? Maybe it could be a bath. Maybe it could be reading a book. Maybe it could be, doing something that is relaxing for you. Sometimes it's, maybe exercise, whatever it is that helps you decompress and kind of get into that state where you're going to be able to relax and slip into sleep quickly. I know this is tough for a lot of people, but if you listen to your body, if you are self-aware, if you are a student of your sleep habits and your sleep patterns, I really think that you can make a lot of progress. And it won't just be accidental. Some nights you have good sleep, some nights you won't. You'll actually start learning more about your body so that you'll be able to sleep deeper and better and wake up in the morning, even with 5-6 hours of sleep, actually feeling really refreshed and ready to hit your day. So anyway, if you found value from this video, please make sure you're subscribed, comment, let me know your experiences with this. And I would absolutely love to hear, because this is something, again, that's been so impactful in my life, and I know that it will be for yours as well if you pay attention to it and focus and kind of be mindful and purposeful how you approach sleep, especially as an entrepreneur. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.